Hi, good evening and welcome. My name is Ivis Williams. Just want to welcome you to this hustings this evening. Before I start, I just want to say thank you for selecting me, for all the Labour Party members for selecting me, and thank you for your support during the campaign trail. I've lived in this borough for over 17 years. Of those 17, 7 of those years I've been volunteering in this local community. And I've been volunteering because Woolwich Common for me is a good area to live. I love living here because of the diversity and the inclusiveness. I'm standing to be a councillor because I believe that I can make a big change to the area and to Woolwich in general. I've been working with some local volunteers where I have worked as a communication officer, as a compliance officer, and recently as a finance director, and I've maintained my integrity. I've also, over the years, been working as a financial accountant, where I've worked at various industry, and I've always worked at high standards. In 2014, I collaborated with a local teacher, and we formed a supplement school that's going strong here in Barnfield. So I am a local resident. I live on this estate. I believe politics for me is about where you live. It's about who you are. It's about your street, how clean your street is. It's about your children's education. It's about the NHS. And I believe everyone in this room care about these things. Therefore, I think we all care about politics. And I'm asking you to support me. Let me be one of your councillor, and I promise that I will take your concern to Greenwich and I will speak up for my people. If elected on Thursday, my priorities over the next 4 years will be to make sure that the needs of all the communities are dealt with and are heard. I will lobby the council, I will lobby government to make sure that whatever the community is pushing, those will go through, and I'll come back to the community with good results. Mainly in the area of housing and education, because I believe the children are the future of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Okay, and next person to speak will be Anthony Okereke, also Labour and Conservative. Labour and. Okay. I knew I shouldn't do more than one word. Yeah. Labour and Co-opted back candidate.
Yes. I want to thank you all for coming here today. Thank you so much for coming and attending and coming to hear us speak on why we are standing to represent you. I've grown up in Woolwich Common all my life. I went to St. Peter's Primary School, and I basically grew up in St. Peter's Church. I'm proud of this area. I love this area. I washed cars in this area to earn money. But most of what's important to me is growing up, many of my friends, family, and neighbours were impacted by social and economic inequality. And that's something that drives me and motivates me, which is why I've tried my best to build in our community and build initiatives that help people come out from that. Ultimately, the reason why I'm standing is because I want to have discussions and work with communities to impact the change that they need. I believe in people-powered services, and essentially 2 people-powered services is conversations with the community. And I'm standing to have conversations with you about how I can make Woolwich Common better for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. And now a nice one word. Zia Rahman from the Renew Party.
Nice and easy. Thank you. Thanks, John. Hello, everyone. My name is Zia. I'm from the Renew Party, and I'd like to be your voice on the local council. I grew up in Shooters Hill and moved to Woolwich Common 10 years ago. I share the same hopes, values and concerns that we all have about where we live, public services we rely on, and the community we form. I'm really excited about all the changes we're seeing in Woolwich about Crossrail and housing and everything else. I'm really concerned to make sure that we all get to share those benefits equally, and there's no disruption or problems coming from that or problems in the environment. As a local resident and as an accountant, I'm really concerned about financial pressures on public services and the effects on crime, infrastructure and health. I'm also worried about the effects of our local economy and local environments from central government austerity, and also the worst of all world's version of Brexit we seem to be heading towards. I'm really concerned about that. For most of my adult life, I've been part of the charity sector, either volunteering or working, and I've also worked overseas in local government in New Zealand, where I looked after ratepayers' money. I'm also a military veteran and I've fought for our country in the Middle East. I believe the power of people like us, and groups like John and Speak Out Woolwich, forming communities and looking after each other, make sure it's fair for all of us rather than just a few people. Having worked in the charity sector for 20 years, I'm really used to working in partnerships between governments, community groups, voluntary groups, public service, all the rest of it, making hard decisions as part of it. Like most people who knew, the party we formed last year with the goal of hitting Brexit, are new to elected politics. That means me and my colleagues, our 90 other candidates around London, we actually haven't got any baggage, and we can actually listen to everybody and get ideas from all of you, bring the best of ideas together, wherever they come from. We formed the New because we want to think globally and act locally, which is easier, far easier, the closer we are to our friends, trading partners and allies across Europe. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. And now Dave Gardner, Labour and Cooperative Party.
Thanks, John. I actually led the group that made sure we had a Crossrail station at Woolwich Arsenal, and we got that through Parliament. It wasn't originally part of the route. It will make a great difference. The really important thing with Crossrail and all the regeneration is that everyone in Woolwich benefit. So the people on 0 hours contracts benefit. The people who are out of work looking for jobs benefit. The people who are moving from slum landlord to slum landlord also benefit. It's not just the few that benefit, and that's what Labour is about. It is for the many and not the few. So shortly then, I'm a great believer in the community. We have a tremendous community in Woolwich Common. It's the world in one ward, and we're much richer for that. And I've been really impressed at the level of community engagement there is here in Barnfield, in Walpole, and throughout the ward, and we need to increase that and civic participation. Housing, we've got some great new housing, like at Maple Polly, which is council housing, but we must do much better in terms of new developments. And I will press and have pressed for far more social rented housing, will continue to do in new developments in our ward. Air quality is appalling in this ward, and it's appalling across London. And we've got to ensure we take really firm practical measures to deal with toxic air. We've got to try to eradicate poverty, and I'll continue to promote, as I have done through the Council, the London Living Wage, and for Greenwich to become a living wage zone. And finally, most importantly, we're here as councillors, and my role is to speak up for Woolwich. We have to speak up for the community, and we have to speak up for individual constituents, which is why I've helped 3,000 cases, 3,000 constituents over the last 4 years. I can assure you, with a Labour team and a Labour council in Woolwich Common, no one will be left behind.
Thank you.